Now that we've covered auto campaigns, the next types are keyword campaigns and product targeting campaigns. For keyword campaigns, we have broad, phrase, and exact. And for product targeting, there's ASIN targeting and there's category targeting. I'm going to break down every single one, what it means, how to use it. By the way, remember that module with Vince where he did the keyword research? So that's where the keyword and ASIN research comes into play. So you've done the research, you now have a list of all of the keywords, you have a list of all of the ASINs that you want to target. This is where you can put that into play. You can start targeting keywords and ASINs, and I will cover all of the different types of campaigns that I launch that are product and keyword targeting for launch. So during the launch, obviously, there's a million different directions you can go. There's a few ones that I've identified that usually work. So I'll cover that so you know what to do in launch. And again, I will explain if you have a big budget, what to do, and if you have a small budget, what to do. So don't worry, don't feel pressure to have to launch everything at once. You can launch the lower hanging fruit first and then go from there. So let's dive into the campaign manager. And this is the view that you guys saw from last module where we were talking about creating a campaign. I've covered everything already, but now instead of targeting automatic targeting, I'm gonna just jump into manual targeting. So I'm in manual targeting here. Same thing with the campaign bidding strategy, same thing with the campaign name and all of that stuff. So I'm just gonna add this product so it can start registering that there's a product here. And manual targeting, we have keyword and product targeting. So let's cover keyword targeting first. Keyword targeting is when we're adding keywords to target. So someone is gonna type a keyword in the search result. Let's say they're typing in electrolyte powder. They type in electrolyte powder, search results pop up. That's a keyword targeting campaign. Now here, there's three ways to add the keywords. There's suggested. So Amazon say, hey, these are the keywords that we suggest you target. You can see there's a ton of them. Let's go down here. Enter a list. So here you can just enter a list of your keywords. So if you already did keyword research on Helium-10, you can say, okay, it came up with unflavored electrolytes. It came up with electrolyte powder. Came up with sugar-free electrolytes. Okay, and you can start inputting these keywords as a list. You can also upload a file. So if for any reason you wanted to upload a file because there's so many different keywords, then you would do it here. However, remember, we usually don't target more than like 5 keywords due to the budget not being spread enough across those keywords. So for now, we can just use enter a list. Or if you're wondering, what are some keywords maybe I don't know about that Amazon is suggesting? Let me explain what IS and IR are here. You can see exactly what it means by looking at by clicking on this I thing. Impression share, the percentage of impressions you're getting on the search term relative to all impressions. This is a really good one because it tells you, are you getting impressions at all in terms of these keywords? So hydration, I'm not getting any impressions. I'm not showing up anywhere when someone types hydration, not even on page 100. So that might be a good one to launch. What about this one? Electrolyte drinks, I'm not showing up anywhere. This one though, hydration powder packets, I'm getting 0.31% of all of the impressions. So pretty reasonable. Now what about impression rank? This is where my impressions share stands relative to other advertised share of your impressions for the same term. So it's almost like a ratio. Is how is your impression share versus other people's impression share? So key nutrients, electrolyte powder, I have 1.19%. So that's a better impression share. And you'll see 4, Vitalite, less 14. So if you scroll all the way down to something, Hydrolyte, impression rank 1. So I have the most amount of impressions versus anyone else. So remember, rank is always like when you're in a race. Rank number 1 is the best, rank number 1,000 is the worst. And in this case, it's telling you how much percent of the impressions are you getting on this keyword and what is your rank compared to everyone else. And the lower this number, the better. The higher this number, it means you're in a lower rank. You're not doing as good. The higher the impression share number, the better. And this can help you identify which keywords should I be showing for. In this case, hard work, MMA nutrition, these are my brand names. I definitely don't need any more impressions because I'm already capturing 100%. Now, broad, phrase, and exact. This is the important lesson here. What is broad, what is phrase, what is exact? We've included a visual for you to understand what it means when it's broad or phrase or exact. But basically, when you put a keyword as broad, let's say I put in unflavored electrolyte as a broad match type keyword, I'm giving Amazon permission to show up for unflavored electrolyte and any sort of variation that includes those words or one of those words in any sort of position, and I can add more words to the ends of it. So could be unflavored electrolyte powder supplement, electrolyte powder unflavored supplement, any sort of variation. Even if you distort the front and back of those keywords, you can have keywords at the beginning and the end, in the middle, you can switch some of the keywords out. That's why broad will trigger for a lot of different keywords. So it sounds exactly like what it is. If you're trying to go broad and capture as many different search terms as possible, you can use broad. Phrase gets a little bit narrower. So it'll have the same keywords, electrolyte powder, except that electrolyte powder keyword has to stay there in that exact same order. You can add keywords at the beginning and at the end, but you cannot change the order. You can't add anything in the middle. And then with exact, you're only targeting that exact keyword. So if it's electrolyte powder exact, you're only targeting electrolyte powder. That's it. It's not going to show up for anything else. And so that's why broad and phrase are usually used as discovery campaigns, because you put a bunch of keywords in there, and then Amazon is going to iterate a bunch of different keywords, and in the search term results, you're going to see, okay, these ones worked, these ones didn't. And you can extract the ones that worked and launch them in phrase and exact. Now, a reminder, do not add negatives if you launch a broad keyword campaign, let's say unflavored electrolyte, broad, and then you discover unflavored electrolyte for elderly men. Don't take that keyword, launch it as exact, and then add it as a negative, because we are not guaranteed that in exact it's going to produce results. So if something is working, do not add it as a negative. Let it keep running. And people are going to ask me, well, wouldn't that compete with each other? Think about it this way. When you have a keyword that's broad, it's triggering for 50 keywords, 60 keywords. As phrase, maybe 15 or 20, and as exact as 1. So when you have two keywords, broad and exact, the chances that they're going to compete is 1 every 50 times after you go through all of those 50 keywords, right? For phrase, it's 1 every 20. So it's not significant enough where we're thinking that this keyword in broad is going to compete with this keyword in exact. This one in broad might get 100 impressions, in exact it might get 2,000 impressions. So yeah, 100 times they are competing out of 2,000 times. With phrase, same thing. Don't worry too much about the competing. If they're in different match types, keywords generally behave completely differently. So now, one last thing to mention between broad, phrase, and exact: don't use all the different match types in the same campaign. Keep one match type per campaign. The reason is the broad match type versus the phrase versus exact, they'll have different results. Broad usually gets a lot more impressions, so broad might suck all of the budget versus phrase versus exact. Phrase will suck the budget from exact, exact won't get anything. So if you have all of these three in together in the same campaign, you might start seeing that the budget utilization isn't as ideal as you'd like it to be. Separate the campaigns so you can see the true effect of the broad or the phrase or the exact. It also makes things a lot cleaner. Now finally, suggested bid. You can use the suggested bid as your bid. You can use a custom bid or a default bid. I always do custom bid. And then from there, you can also just add those keywords and adjust them. So the range here is 259 to 920, 119 to 487. If I want to be conservative with the money that I'm spending, I might start at like $2, right? Even lower than the lowest of the range. And even if I don't get any impressions, I'll start working my way up. And this way, I'm being kind of frugal with my money instead of going in the middle of the range or the top of the range, spending a lot of money, then getting the data, then making corrections. Again, it all depends on how much money you can spend. The more money you can spend, the faster you're going to gather that data. And so that's the difference between broad, phrase, and exact. So let's talk about different campaigns that we use during launch that are keyword campaigns. So for the launch, besides ranking campaigns and branded campaigns, which we're going to cover in a little bit, you want to launch campaigns for keywords broad, phrase, and exact, and try and discover search terms that you're going to convert profitably for. So broad and phrase, you can go into the search term report, identify those profitable search terms, continue to launch and discover more search terms. And the exact, some might work, some might not work. So if they're working, keep them running. If not, you can optimize them later. Now let's jump in and do some of the product targeting campaigns. We're going to click here instead of keyword targeting, product targeting. And essentially, there's two types of product targeting. There's an entire category that we can target or individual products. So first, let's discuss the categories. Categories can be any category that you want on Amazon. Now, here there's a suggested category, which is sports nutrition, endurance, and energy powders. That's the category that I'm in. And it tells you right here that there's 710 to 1,184 products in that category. Obviously, I don't want to target all of those. It's way too many products to target, so I can do a little bit of refinement. You can also search for a category. So maybe I want to search for like the keto category. So I'm going to click on the search button here. I'm going to type in keto. So maybe I want to target products that are in the ketogenic diet. These are books. Or maybe ketone testing monitoring. And there's 5 to 8 products in ketone testing and monitoring. So maybe someone who is buying a ketone meter looks and sees, oh wow, this is an unflavored electrolyte powder. This is really good for keto. It's going to prevent the keto flu. And so they're going to want to buy it. So you can get as creative as you want with these different categories. But for now, let's just pretend that this is the category that we're going in. I also can refine it. So I'm going to click refine here. I can select only certain brands to target. Or what I can do is select the price range. So for me, what I would do is I'd select products that are minimal, at least more expensive than me. So $29 or more. And then instead of 1 to 5, right, where there's a lot of products, I'm going to go all the way down to 3. So there's actually, I can even go further and say there's 25 to 41 products that are 2 stars that are $29. You can even go a little bit more to 30. And now I'm left with 24 to 40. This is still a large number, so you can keep iterating here until you get a refined result. Since I didn't put a daily budget here, I'm just going to have to go back, put that daily budget. And now we're good to go. Now let's talk about individual products. Again, individual products are ASINs that we want to target. So if someone types in a keyword on Amazon, finds a product, clicks on it, once you're in that product detail page, you scroll down and you say sponsor products related to this item. That's where we're going to show up. And there is like 60 pages or so of products that you can show up for. So this is where our keyword and ASIN research, again from the previous module, kicks in. And we can start targeting these ASINs however we want. Again, there are suggested ASINs that Amazon's suggesting you should target, or we can search for products. So I can search for Liquid IV, which is a competitor. And once it loads up, I can start selecting the different Liquid IV products I want to target. You can also enter a list here. And this is a list of the products, so I can manually input all of the ASINs that I've researched in the past, or I can upload a list. Obviously, like I said, if we're doing only 5 ASINs, no point in uploading a whole Excel spreadsheet. So here's the search. This is what happened when I searched for Liquid IV. These are the products that popped up. So I can very quickly just add them here. Now, let me cover what are the different ASIN targeting campaigns that I'm going to do during my launch, and you can pick and choose which ones you want to. So first, I have the low-hanging fruit. These are the bad review products, or they have a really high price. If I'm a $28 product and I have 4.5 stars, if I go for anything above $32, maybe 3 stars or 3.5 stars, there is a good chance that I'm going to win on those ASINs, because someone's going to be in that ASIN, scroll down, see my product, it's cheaper, it's better, has better reviews, buy it. So that's one type of campaign that I use. Another type of campaign that I'll run is a single ASIN campaign. So this is when I target one single ASIN in that campaign because there's a reason for it. So maybe this ASIN is very closely related to my ASIN, but I'm a way better product. Maybe I'm very differentiated from this product. So maybe this is like a card holder, and I'm a card holder that also has money band, and I'm a better product. And so I want to target that product because even though it's getting a lot of impressions, a lot of clicks, I'm better. So generally people are going to scroll down, look at me, say, oh, this is a better solution, and click and buy me. So to wrap this up, there's keyword targeting, there's product targeting. When there's keyword targeting, we're using broad, phrase, and exact. Broad and phrase are usually good for discovery. Exact is when you're exactly targeting. However, don't mistake exact for being better performance than broad and phrase. Broad and phrase can bring you as much money, if not more, than exact. So it's all about testing the different keywords, identifying which one works best in the search term report, and then making decisions based on that.